Would you say this was more sort of coming from within in yourself? Because was there any sort of mentor figure or people that you could see who were doing something that you wanted to, or you were inspired to follow them, or they would guide you in any particular way? Because
Well,
it sounds like, yeah.
my gran, because I used to go and stay with her, and she was the epitome of freedom. As far as I saw my nan, she had no husband. She hadn't killed him like everything else, but my granddad had died, and she had these 3 caravans. When her mum died and her dad died, she inherited some money. It was about £1,000.
Yeah.
And her own house. So she bought the caravans, and we used to go and stay in them, and she'd rent them out. So I could see what my nan was doing. She used to clean in the pub.
Yeah.
So long as I did as I was told and come back when I was told and earn a bit of money, I had complete freedom. Then I went to France, and I saw further afield then, realising that I was even further from my parents, and the aunties wouldn't see me. I could do what I want. I'm not saying I was naughty, but it helped do my judo. And then I had a judo coach. She said to me a few months after I started, "Do you want me to take you on?" I went, "Yeah, okay." He said, "Well, do what I say." "Oh, okay then." So through him, he was like neuro-linguistic programming on the judo mat. He was well ahead of his time. And he was of the old type, you know, when you say the old type, black was black, white was white.
Yeah.
And if you didn't do as you were told, well, you laid your own bed, you know, you made your own bed and laid in it. Same approach as my nan. They had boundaries. They knew the boundaries. They knew what they were doing. And they got on with it. And that's what I did. I kind of set the boundaries and got on with it. As I went to university, I had another new judo coach, Dennis Penfold. He was a silver medalist in European silver medalist in the 50s. And I learnt from him. I always used to look for the lecturers that were successful at what they were doing and enjoyed what they did. And there were a few there. There's a few tales to tell about those. 70, you know, the late 70s, early 80s. And there still wasn't the internet around. So you could do things and not be found out.
Yeah.
So they were mentors. Then I just used to search out people that were good at what they did.
Yeah.
But how did they get there? And when I was 18, no, when I was 19, if you remember, I said I got my black belt at judo, millenary champion, reserve for national squad. I went to national squad training, and I had a major injury. Some stupid green belt of a bloke, a big bloke, he just like went behind me and it twisted, and I heard this crack, and it was my ankle. And I was taken home in a car, and I couldn't do judo.
Wow.
I started climbing and doing other sports where I didn't have to use judo just to keep fit. And it was May. I was at a disco one night about 2:00, and I heard this crack, and it was the medial ligament in my knee. It had snapped.
Whoa.
So bang went the judo again. And then I carried on with the climbing, and I was up Simonjat in Forest Dean climbing. It was my second climb up the cliff. I was about 40 foot up, and I reached up like that with my right arm. And as I pulled, I heard this crack, snap, rip. It was the whole of here. I'd ripped the whole rotator cuff.
Sounds painful.
Childbirth is a pleasure since. So my whole judo career was the end of my sporting career, because my shoulder would just dislocate as and when. So I was so any sports person or anybody that has worked so hard and the rug is just pulled out from them, no wonder that they feel pain more than anything, because when you're at the top of your sport, there's a very fine line between being super fit and being injured.
Yeah. Wow.
That first 6 months of May went from complete success to being bedridden. I just couldn't get out of bed. So when I could walk, I'd be off cycling.
Yeah.
Over to front. You know, we just got on with it, really. No chance to get depressed or miserable and cry. You could cry alone. No one would know. But nobody was bothered because, for anybody that's injured or miserable or depressed, people will ask you a few times, how are you? And you go, oh, fine, but they don't want to hear it too much. So I kept to myself and just got on with life.
Yeah.
So that took me up to about the age of 21.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had the operation on my shoulder when I was 22. Eventually got accepted to teaching practice in 83. So I was like 23.
Yeah.
So I went to America for a few summer holidays and did Buna camp. So I taught judo. And then I did fight again at the British Students Judo Championships.
Okay.
And I had the operation in 83, February 83.
Yeah.
Started teaching practice in September, the teaching course, my PGCE, in September 83. By February, I was back fighting at the national level, and I got a silver or a bronze in the British Students Judo Championships.
Yeah. Wow.
So I knew I was good because I could beat men that were black belts first and some second.
Yeah.
I don't know how fit I was, but I'm sure I was very fit and strong.
Yeah.
And the judo just carried me forward because I remember at my interview, the teaching practice, and he said, oh, well, what geography have you done? And I thought, shit, I haven't done much at all. I've done a bit of this, that, and the other. And I said, well, I've done this. And I said what I've done. I said, but one of the reasons that geography was brilliant was because I was able to focus on my sporting career. And we started to talk about judo. And he said, oh, I'd like to offer you a place here, Sharon. Thank you. It's been a privilege. And then I began to realise, well, it's not necessarily about learning the subject. It's the whole thing that goes with it, about being passionate and enjoying it. And the things to do, what they call resilience now. Doing it, having a passion, it's shining out of your eyes, sharing it with the people, helping people. So that took me there. And my experiences of going to America and all the other stuff that I did and helping people, it's like helping people. I did it through the teaching of judo. So then I had a teaching career after that. But I was always strategically exiting from, or reinventing yourself, as I heard yesterday from a conference I was on. But that's so I always live my dream.
Yeah, no, that's good.
You can probably relate to that, about living your dream, enjoying what you do with passion.
Yeah.
Life on your terms, freedom. But the mentors are just so important, the coaches, whether you pay for them or not. They're there, they enable you to see and learn different things, and they guide you, and they offer you a perspective. And they've usually got your best interests at heart. Sometimes they get a bit pissed off, or oh, well, do it your way then. But then, you sit back and think.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you realized from an earlier on that you had to drive your own agenda in terms of what you wanted to achieve, because there wasn't anyone who was gonna give you a silver spoon or something. But if you needed anything to drive yourself, you would call upon these mentors. But the initial sort of inspiration or motivation was within, to do the things that were driving you, and that freedom, and traveling to America and driving your judo, your teaching, everything was you, isn't it?
It also, a few things I've learned this year. I mean, I have paid for mentors over the last 3 years and coaches, but I also learned from lots of other people and books and videos. What I've specifically learned is that it starts within you.
Yeah.
No one's coming for you except, the dark at the end of your life. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you've got to do it yourself, and you can't do it on your own.
Yeah.
You can only go so far on your own. You go pretty fast. But it comes to a point where the story that you tell yourself that evolves, it gets replayed again and again and again. And you will do it unknowingly. And I heard the other day, well, I've known for ages, kids pick up a lot when they're kids. That film Inside Out, the animated film, is very good for showing this. But they actually learn about 70% of what they learn through life is in the first 7 years of their life.
Yeah.
So, and you don't realise, do you? It's only when you go ahead and do what you want, or when somebody else tells you what to do. I mean, life can hit you, or you can choose to go into your life, curate it and create it, but knowingly or unknowingly. And if you do it unknowingly, you end up quite lonely a lot of the time, because you're not doing what everybody else wants. So you reach a point where no matter what you try and do, you can't go any further. And it's like sports. There's a thing called mesocycles, and that's your energy levels. When you're training really hard, there is a point. So say if you're training for, say, 12 weeks, there is a point in that 12 weeks where no matter what you do, you can't, if you try harder, you actually don't improve, you get worse. Your body's like adapting to what has happened. It's creating a mesocycle, which is a cycle. So for me, it's about 5 weeks. So in terms of energy, in about 5 or 6 weeks, if I keep pushing on and on and on, I have 5 to 6 weeks, I'm going to get injured if I go at the same level. So I learned this quite a few years ago when I kind of I'd started doing more sports. So, and it's like life. You can go so far as you can take you.
Yeah.
Because you'll reach that point, and then the realization may come or may not. But if you push through a boundary, you're either scaling up or growing, and your brain, part of your brain, I can't remember what it's called now. Anyway, the brain, not the prefrontal, the other part, but it kind of, it's your safety net. It keeps you safe.
Yeah.
Keeps you safe. And so somehow fear happens, or you're worried what will happen, or if I get to here and I'm successful, and you might not be consciously thinking it, but it happens. And that story, so for me, it was replayed through injury, car accident, road accident, another injury, saying or doing something really stupid, which I really shouldn't have said or done, and really peed off everybody around me. It was the truth. So it's self-sabotaging, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's what, and I remember a manager saying to me once, "You're your own worst enemy, Sharon. Is there something wrong with you?" You know. I said, why is it happening to me? Why do I always make a mistake?
But isn't that in contrast with you shouldn't really care much about what people think about you if you've got some agenda or some place that you want to be. You just go with the flow, go with your instinct and all your full energy, rather than, because if you start thinking about what other people think and all of those kind of things, it can slow you down. So is there a balance there to strike around that?
It is a balance to get, because I really didn't care about what people thought, and I would do. Apart from there is a saying: to the whole world you're one person, but to one person you're the world. Okay, so if you think in your life, right, there have been certain people in your life you really didn't want, you really valued what they said, and they made a difference to your life, and you knew if you did or said the wrong things, well, you knew they might forgive you, but in your heart, you know that you get that. So the people that didn't matter to me or didn't bother to me in my eyes, well, they could say what they want. They were fuel for the fire. And it was, I think, you haven't even done it. This is a teenage kid, 20, young kid thinking, you haven't done it. How can you tell me what to do? You don't know me. You don't know what I want. You haven't even asked me what I want. Now you're trying to tell me what to do, and here you are. And it was like these thoughts. They were perhaps projected by me just doing my own thing. In the early days, I used to deliberately antagonise, play devil's advocate to get the reactions because I learnt from them.
Yeah.
And whether they were shitty people or nice people or whatever, I mean, everybody's nice somewhere in their soul. It's a case of finding it. So over time, I learned to listen more to what people would say. But sometimes it's just too late because personal things get in the way or I'm off.
Yeah.
So in my teaching career, I've always loved to find it's great spotting kids with potential or kids that don't realise they have potential or kids that know that, everybody's got potential. But I can only go so far with them. So my aim also has been in life with teaching is to really help children and inspire them through what I did. And by reaching them. And even if I couldn't reach them, I'd connect with other people that could reach them, which was a great lesson for my own kids, really. I've got 2.
Yeah.
So it's about leverage, isn't it? Leveraging and working with other people, helping them to see their potential, because so many people don't see their potential. They don't see what's inside them. That's why mentors are good, because they see what you cannot see and they're non-judgmental.
Yeah. And what do you think is the role of mindset? Because mindset is a big thing, isn't it? You know, and it is one which can shift in a way, make or break people in terms of the direction that they want to go. So the right positive mindset, or even when they talk about controlling people's emotions and all those kind of things. What's your experience and what are your views around those 2 things about the right mindset to have in everything that people are doing and how it drives people's agendas?
Okay, right. So with regards to mindset, I mean, that word has only been around, I've only been hearing about it in my world for the last 5 years or so. Okay, mindset. It's like well-being.
Yeah.
Resilience is a word. Mindfulness.
Yeah.
It's come into my world and the world more so when people have gone through difficulty. So if you set your mind to a certain point, your mindset is set. Yeah.
Yeah.
So set the mind is set. So if you have a closed mind and you know what you want to do and you're focused on it and your views and opinions are your world, your perspective is a very closed one.
Yeah.
It's good because you can focus and you know what you know about, okay, and your opinions are your opinions. Whether they have validity or not, that's another thing. But if you have an open mindset and you're willing to learn and take things in and understand and listen, that gives you perspective. So the more perspectives you have, the more you can see and the more potential you can see. Now, on the other hand, if you've got loads of perspectives, you could get overwhelmed and you move away further from yourself.
Yeah.
Which means that you spend a lot of time, or for me, exploring all avenues, and you lose the light in your life, you lose where you're going because you know what you've got to do and you want to do it, but you go on an adventure. So it's about when do you close the mind, when do you open the mind? Because education and learning is not just about filling the brain, it's opening the mind as well.
Yeah.
So with the judo, if I give an example, I knew I got better when I increased my grades. So when I got my black belt, I was good. Yeah. Now, if I'd have had the mindset that I'd got to my black belt and that was it, that would have been a closed mindset because I didn't need to do anything. All I needed to do was maintain that. But if my mindset was open that, well, there's the first dan, the second dan, the third dan, the fourth dan, I could go for more and do more and create a bigger adventure. So when I was about 17, 18, I fought a lady who did judo. She was saying, Anne Hughes. Now, I got injured and she was British champion. And we drew, I think. We drew. And she carried on. She's now 6 dan.
Wow.
and I stopped. So my mind was always open to being successful at what I wanted to do and achieving what I wanted to do. But when I got to that success point, my mind, I imagine, must have closed because I was determined to achieve it. But I didn't know what I'd do. There was no overall plan. I didn't know what I was going to do to achieve it. So I didn't have a bigger plan. All I saw was my mind was close to achieving that goal, and I did what I could. But I also know, as part of the process of learning, I had to open myself up to understand more and learn more, to get more and give more as well. But at the end of the day, when I was a kid and when I was young, mindset, it was just like having a mind that was, you just got on and did it. If you got on and did it, as my gran said, you made your bed and you laid in it. So the more open the mind, the bigger bed you've got, the more enjoyment you have. If your mind is closed, you may be happy or not in your own world, but that is what you see. So pros and cons of both. But the main thing is, I left school with 3 O-levels, and I was a writer. I was going to go work in a factory and have kids, 6 and 7 kids. I can't imagine that, but yeah, that was me. If I'd had a closed mind, that's what I would have probably done. But because I opened my mind and realised there was more, I just got on and did what I did in a different way and had a different adventure. Carried on learning. The open mindset. There's a book called Carol Dweck. Here it is.
Oh.
It's called Mindsets.
Ah, okay.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Mindset. So the research is done is that if you have a closed mindset, it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
And your point of reference is, if I don't achieve it, I failed. Yeah. But with an open mindset, I'm going to learn more. And although you may not be any good at the beginning, by the end of the process that's occurred, you may know more, and you've carried on. Your mindset has carried you through like a floating magic carpet, carries you through. But if you think in education since the 80s, everybody's wanted everybody to succeed. So a lot of people now, especially youngsters, they've not experienced failure in their life. And to fail on the good side is that you get up and carry on with it and you handle it. But if you have a closed mindset where it's all or nothing, you'll do everything to avoid failure. And if you've got all the voices in your head saying you're rubbish, you're no good, you've got to do this, this is the best thing for you. So you hear all the voices in your head. So by having a closed mindset, you hear the voices in your head and you don't hear your own voice. But when you've got your open mindset and you want to learn, you may hear them, but it's about finding what's right for you.
What's right for you. And that's a key point, isn't it? It's all about what's your purpose for you and where do you want to go.